Now, although we'd say Bournemouth, Newcastle was the shock of the weekend, the manner of this next game...
I didn't think this next one was a shock, though, to be honest. If you actually look back, I actually predicted this.
I think it's maybe not a shock result, but I mean just the manner of it.
Yeah. To let it
throw it away
at
like
the end.
that.
Yeah.
And you'd have to say, as much as Spurs were getting their plaudits, and deservedly so, been a bit of a capitulation over the last... they played... I was tipping them for an easy win against Chelsea last week. Obviously going down to 9 men is very difficult, but I don't think they've got anything to complain about in that game last week.
Do you know what I found very strange, right? I get that us as fans and pundits like Carragher and Neville, all this, we all want to watch great football and like exciting football. But that is not a manager I would want. Imagine if I don't know, obviously if it's a final, it's different. But imagine if that's a really big game, a must-win game, and you're playing a high line like that. There's no chance I'd want that in my manager.
It was crazy. I like the fact that he has backed himself.
Yeah, well,
and,
yeah.
But I think he'd quite openly tell you as well, clearly it backfired and didn't work.
Yeah.
I do think it was a crazy decision.
But I think it's a bit naivety, though, because you've got players like Sterling and Mudryk.
Pace.
Yeah, pure pace. And as soon as Chelsea got that one ball that went through to Sterling, goal.
Yeah.
They was trying it a lot, though, weren't they? And it weren't working.
That's what I mean. It's almost like it was working for Spurs a little bit for a
bit,
while.
yeah. But when you get to the 70th minute or 65th minute...
Imagine if they'd done that against City.
Mate.
They could have conceded 10.
Oh, yeah.
Because they wouldn't make them mistakes.
I don't think he would have done it against City, but I think it's a bit different. I think he saw something, didn't he, in Chelsea. Maybe they didn't have the pass that could go over to
they've not been great after this season.
No.
But not like people have really talked about that.
I just found it a bit... Yeah, I found maybe they could have scraped a win, or not a win.
It would have been very difficult.
Yeah.
Very difficult, with 9 men. And you'd have to say as well, when I was watching it, Udogie and Romero get sent off, and I think they both could have been sent off before.
Romero's disgusting.
That kick out, he might be the most overrated centre back in the league.
We said, I know why. Obviously, I put him into like the inform so far this season.
Well, he'd had a couple of goals.
Yeah, he was actually
performing
good.
Better.
But there's always that. We've always said that he's overrated because of how dirty he is.
Until Van de Ven came in, I think Romero has been pretty bang average since he joined Spurs.
Yeah.
I've never been impressed by him.
I need to look how many red cards he's got.
The amount of... He had one against, I'm sure it was Spurs, Bournemouth. He had a huge chopping challenge that should be a straight red.
Yeah.
He should have been sent off against us.
Yeah.
And then he goes on and he's getting goals in these games. He should have been suspended for him. And then he kicks out. VAR checked that, by the way. And don't send him off. Which, beyond me. They've looked at it and it's like, they think it's petulance and not aggression.
Yeah.
It's a kick out, it's a red card.
Yeah, yeah.
And then to go and then he still gets sent off. It's like Udogie, that flying into that challenge he got a yellow for.
Yeah.
That's a red. And then again, he's chopping a man down when his team are down to 10 men. Let him run past you.
That's what I mean. It's dumb. It's naivety. He shouldn't be doing that.
Udogie, I'll let it slide a little bit because he's a younger player. And I think
Romero's
that's a moment
young.
of madness.
Romero's like 25.
I know, but he's just... I think at least he's got like the Prem experience a bit more and
yeah,
things like
yeah,
that.
That's
but
true.
Yeah, I think they could have no complaints about those red cards because I think they could have had 2 red cards each, both of them players.
Don't get me wrong, you can still be a world class, and I mean world class, like one of the best defenders on the planet, and still be dirty and get your red cards. Sergio Ramos is
100%.
Yeah.
Ramos is the best I've ever seen.
I think he's unreal
In terms of like the longevity of his career, and I feel like because of the age that he played and I was watching football,
Yeah, the variety of his play as well.
He's the one I could give the most competent analysis of being like, he is the best central defender I've ever watched.
It's a big shout. We'll probably have to touch on that.
It is, he's not necessarily my complete favourite, but in terms of some of the other world-class centre-backs that I think of, like, like Rio and Terry and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, I was a bit younger, so like even like the starts of their career, I can't remember very well.
When we started seeing Ramos do his job, like his business, that's when we was old enough to like and
appreciate
analyse
it.
the game and appreciate it.
So I'm not necessarily saying, he's 100% the best, but to me, he is.
Yeah.
And like, especially like how long he did it for at the highest level.
And that's the thing with Romero. I don't see Romero ever changing.
No, I think if you're a shithouse like that, you have to be unbelievable for it to
make up for it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like Keane. Like, if you're going to be an absolute arsehole, you have to be unbelievable. You can't be an arsehole like
Vieira was
Joey
another one.
Barton.
Oh, yeah, Joey Barton was an arsehole.
People just remind you of being an arsehole. Remember you as
Remind you of being an arsehole.
People just remember you as being an arsehole. No one's like, oh, Joey Barton, he was a good player.
Yeah.
People go, oh, Keane, he was a good player.
Remember, was it Juve spat in people's faces?
Oh, mate.
Fucking disgusting. Bastard.
I feel sick.
Well, yeah, Spurs obviously throwing it away, losing 2-1 at the end, but it was 2 goals, I think 91st, 96th minute.
Yeah, both very late on.
Yeah. But the Sarabia one to equalise was a touch of class, wasn't it?
Easily the best goal of the weekend and up there for one of the best goals of the season in terms of just technique.
Yeah. The touch was so satisfying.
You could watch that 100 times.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really satisfying. Did he get subbed on or did he play the full game?
I'm pretty sure he subbed on.
Because that's a stroke of genius.
Yeah.
Subs him on, he creates the second goal and scores the first one.
Yeah.
And I know it seems like an overreaction because Spurs have been brilliant, but the manner in which they lose that game, the manner in which they capitulated against Chelsea in terms of losing their heads and completely falling to pieces, I'd say that, and now Van der Ven's injured.
Is that a long injury? I haven't looked at that.
I think I saw on Twitter that it's going to be at least the new year. Because I know it's coming close now. But
yeah, because I think Van der Ven is an even bigger miss than Maddison.
I think they can still score and win it. I think you're right. I think they have looked defensively frail for a long time. Romero's been there a while.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, I don't rate him really. You've got Van der Ven, and he's made that work.
He's made the, not obviously as much as Van Dijk did, but the kind of the same impact.
I was just going to say the same as you then. Obviously, Van Dijk was much, much better.
Yeah.
But he's made that impact. Made someone alongside him look shit up, really, when they're not that special. Great result for Wolves, and I think we really should give them some credit because we wrote them off at the start of the season. And don't get me wrong, if I was going to do my predictions now, I'm not putting them down there anymore. But
no, I'm not. No,
they've been brilliant.
But Gary O'Neill, I'm pretty sure, just got appointed when we did the predictions.
Possibly.
And I'm not even sure if I knew it at the time. You might have said it at the time, but I couldn't really change it.
Even so, I thought they still didn't have enough. I thought they were doomed.
He did a tremendous job, though, at Bournemouth.
He did.
So I could have probably took that into consideration, but they was really bad at the pre-season. It was dead hostile, wasn't it? The manager left, everything.
It was bad atmosphere.
Yeah.
But it looks like there's a bit of togetherness. It looks like they can play. It looks like they can give anyone a game.
Yeah.
And so I think the sky's the limit for them this season. I think the fans genuinely be happy as long as they're not getting relegated. I think.
If you watch,
they could push for mid-table. I think
they could.
Yeah.
If you watch Gary O'Neill, it is Gary O'Neill, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you watch Gary O'Neill on Monday Night Football when he did it, did you ever see it?
No.
So go and watch that, and it actually just gives you a good insight of like sort of manager he is, and I just think it's really good to have a look at,
right?
Especially when managers come on. You had the Brentford manager Thomas Frank.
Oh, I saw him on once before.
He went on, yeah, but I always have the idea of should they be going on and telling them how they work?
It's a bit strange. You see some players do it when they've got long-term injuries, don't you? Like current players sometimes. Yeah. Like Calvert-Lewin did it a couple of seasons ago or something. It's interesting because I still don't think they'll give it all away. No,
there's obviously some bits that they wouldn't, and obviously they prepare for every game differently. But yeah, they're never going to. They say that what they like to do.
Yeah, it gives you an interesting insight for sure. But great result for Wolves, a concerning one for Spurs.
You just see loads of on Twitter, everywhere on social media saying "typical Spurs." Here we go.
Back.
Yeah,
but no, I think.
A bit harsh.
It is harsh. They've been great. Let's see how they fare after the international break. Obviously, I think they are going to struggle now with the players that they've got missing.
It does make you wonder though, because we touched on the Newcastle at the end of the Newcastle game. There was a clip going round of Trippier with 2 fans.
Yeah,
and obviously he was saying "Oh, do you not think we're giving everything on the pitch? All this stuff." And there's a bit back and forth. Obviously, it's not bad. It's not going to make the headlines or whatever, but. He then went on and said, "Do you know how many injuries we've got?" I'm sorry, but and then Spurs have got 2 injuries and it's all falling apart. United have had 15.
And
no one's saying anything about it. I get that we should be doing better because our teams are better than them, but it's still like they shouldn't be saying, "Oh, do you know how many injuries we've got?" We've been dealing with injuries since the start of the season.
Yeah, and they're big ones for us as well.
Yeah,